If you want to be a girl, you can be a girl. If you want to be a robot, you can be a robot. You can be whatever you want. Hi, I'm a cosplayer. Ask me anything. I'm Eden. I'm 32 years old this year. I'm a professional prop maker and a cosplayer. Most of it's people like trying to touch you without letting you know, and that becomes a problem, especially for our female friends when it becomes sexual harassment. They put out this weird face to us and tell us that they don't understand why we're putting this much effort and money and time into these costumes, and then you just wear it to an event and then you take nothing back. Well, it really depends, because in every media there are things, people, characters that tend to be fetishized. The cosplay community in Singapore is pretty tight. If you make a mistake or if you do something that we don't see it right, then we would try to ban ourselves as a community and try and protect the victim. And by calling out these inappropriate behaviors, we can make the community better as a whole. I guess right now I'm more used to it. Back then in the beginning, it's really uncomfortable because they're just really curious at what you're doing. This guy in a wheelchair saw me and I was cosplaying Stan Lee. He saw a Spider-Man cosplayer and got us both to take photos with him. For us, it's just somebody in a costume, right? For them, these characters come to life for them. The look of these people when they're so happy to meet some of their heroes, it's really incredible. I just do. I just do. It's so hot and humid in Singapore. The moment you wear any costume, regardless of how much fabric there is, you're gonna sweat. You're gonna sweat yourself out. So we bring a helper along to help us suit in and out of costumes. There's no holding it in really. You can choose to have really cheap costumes. There's so many avenues out there. You can get them off Carousel. You can also find them on Taobao. I think it's this Daft Punk costume. I think the helmet itself cost me $3,000, and then there's the full sequin blazer. It's just really expensive to produce. Initially, they were really irritated. I like to make costumes more than wearing it, so I make a lot of costumes, and that creates a whole lot of mess in my house. They're quite happy that at least I found something that I like to do and not feel that dreadful about work. I don't know. There's so many costumes that I've made over the years, and every one of it has its own challenges, and I'm interested in the characters that I get to bring out. So there isn't one. There's a lot of factors to that, I guess. Meeting my friends. I know most of my friends from this cosplay community because we're all sort of a little queer, and it creates a sort of like an understanding between us. Back then it was so rare for people to watch anime. As the culture gets bigger and bigger in Singapore, we find it easier to meet more people like that. There are people who collect movie memorabilia and actual used props and things like that. We have collectors like these who can provide us with photos of props that were used on set, and we'll build what we want according to that. Most of the materials that we use in Singapore is this thing called EVA foam. It's lightweight, it's easy to get, it's easy to paint, easy to sculpt with, so it becomes like a very budget-friendly option. Anything you can do on a car, you definitely can do on a prop. There's some welding involved, there's a lot of priming, painting, sculpting, and then there's foam smithing, there's tailoring for clothes and dresses, wig styling and building of wigs. I guess my biggest inspirations are people from movie studios and prop houses Hat Rabbit, Stan Winston, Wita. These are some of the people that I kind of wish that I want to work with in the future if I get the chance to. It's a simple thing, maybe it takes you 2 to 3 weeks. Some costumes take years. You spend time collecting parts, or you save up money to put into really high-end materials for it, like molding and casting, and then this process takes super long. I don't know. I guess every prop has its own challenges. But I'm into this franchise called Kamen Rider. You know it as Mask Rider. I really like this franchise as a whole. I like the production team. I like the costumes that they push out and the stories they write. Every year I make a lot of costumes from just this one franchise alone. Cosplay is just another hobby, like any other hobby. Try and be open-minded about this new hobby that is rising in popularity. You know, hopefully this will be like a normal thing and everyone can enjoy and be a part of this community. Remember to choose your costumes and your props according to what you really like, and instead of, you know, what's the hype. This hobby is expensive. The more you get into it, the more money you spend it. You won't see it now, you'll see it as you go along. And I've seen way too many friends who gave up cosplay because they suddenly realized they're putting way more effort into it and not getting much out of it. So it's a consideration that you might want to put into.
With that, that's a wrap.
Ah, great. Yay!